Hey everybody, today we are going to practice finding the slope of the graph. And you've already done a foldable with me, and you've probably already done a Simon Says game. So slope from a graph can either be one of four types: positive, negative, zero, undefined. That's just the style of the graph, it's not exactly the answer. So that's the starting point. If you have a graph and you're looking at a line, you have to first determine if it's positive, negative, zero, undefined. So to start, you have to know your left from your right. Your left hand's on the left side and your right hand's on the right side. And slope is always written with the letter M. So you're not going to say slope equals, you're going to say M equals, because M stands for slope. And the reason being, back in the day, like way, way back, the word modulus in Latin, and modulus meant the change in variation. So like the change in y over the change in x, modulus just meant change. So when they were talking about stuff that changes, they said the modulus is, and now we say slope. So we left the letter M to stand for modulus, but we changed the word in English to be slope. So the types of slope again are positive, negative, zero, and undefined. If you're thinking of positive slope, you look at a graph from left to right, and if it goes up from left to right, it's called positive. It's negative if you look from left to right and it goes down. Zero if it has no slope. It's a flat line, horizontal. You put your arms out right in front of yourself and go neighbor to neighbor. That's zero. Undefined is if you're jumping off a cliff straight down. And on this world, you cannot do that because we have something called gravity. But if you could, it would be undefined. So positive slope. In the background, you see a pig running up a slope. The line there, the purple line, is positive when it goes up from left to right. So he's saying he'd rather have an escalator, but it's only a workout if the hill is actually going up. So it's a positive workout. Negative slope, it's more fun to go snowboarding, sledding, skiing when the slope goes down versus slope going up. So slope is going down, it's negative. From left to right, you need to make sure you have a negative sign after your M, so M equals and a negative sign. And then zero slope if it's a horizontal line from left to right. So the pig is running on a treadmill, basically. And this is easy. M equals zero when the line stays the same horizontally left to right. And then the fourth type of slope is undefined. So this little birdie here is trying to go straight down, and it's going to be impossible. They're going to crash and burn. But M is undefined when the line is vertical. It has no change in x, so just a change in y. It goes up and down, but it doesn't go left to right. So you will be finding out that slope is the rise over run. So rise over run, slope is always written as a reduced fraction or a whole number. You always move from left to right, easiest way to do slope. Now, technically, you can start at any point and go to the other, but if you start from left to right, you're going to get your positives and negatives correct. You want to choose points that you can easily read. You can choose any 2 points and find the slope between those 2 points. You don't have to use certain prescribed points. So change in y over change in x is also written with the letter delta. So you might see it looking like this: a change in y over the change in x. That's equal to slope. It's also y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we'll get into that day 3 when we're using the slope formula. This fancy letter here is Greek for delta, just means the change. So change in y over the change in x. And again, you always write your slope as a positive or negative fraction or whole number, never a mixed number. So if I had 2 points like this and I wanted to find the slope, I'm always going to want to start on the slope on my left-hand side. So I'm going to start at this point right here, and I'm going to move to this point right here. Now, it doesn't technically matter today that you know the ordered pairs. In the future, it might help you if you don't have a graph, but you can figure out the slope by going rise over run. So I always start at my left-hand side, and I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So my rise is 4 and my run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my slope, it's positive because it goes up from left to right. So it's going to be a positive answer. I rose 4 and I ran 6. So rise over run. Now this is great and all, but it's not reduced. So I want to make sure I reduce my fraction if I can. They're both even, so I can divide them by 2 over 2, and I get the slope of 2/3. So this line has a slope of a positive 2/3. So you could start at any point. Let's say I wanted to start here, and to find the next one, I have to go up 2 and over 3. Starting here, going up 2 And over 1, 2, 3, I'll get to a point on the line. So it doesn't matter where you start. If you go up 2 and over 3, you'll always get to another point on that line. So looking at this graph, the green line is what we're trying to find. Automatically we know that it's positive because it goes up from left to right. So you want to find 2 points that are easy to discern. So in this graph, it looks like, oh, I could do like right here. And where's another one that intersects? So this one looks like it intersects way up here. So to find my slope, m equals rise over run. So first I want to rise. 1, 2, 3 units. So my rise is 3. My run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I ran 5. This is already reduced, so my final answer, my slope, is 3/5. That's it. Let's find the next one. Now this slope has a straight line horizontal, goes straight across. If you wanted to try figuring it out, m is rise over run. You just pick 2 points. Say you want to go from here to here. Just find 2 points that are easy to read. Rise. Well, I don't have to rise at all, so I rise 0. And to run from left to right, I have to move 2 place values. And if you were to use a calculator, 0 on top divided by any number on the bottom, it spells on, it's always going to be equal to 0. So 0 divided by 2 is equal to 0. This has a 0 slope. Horizontal lines, instead of having to figure it out, if you look at it, it's a flat line going straight across, left to right, the slope is always going to be 0. Okay, let's do another one. Let's find the slope of this line. So again, a green line, you just find 2 points. Now they might be super close together like this and here. You just have to make sure your dots are touching both the x and the y axis, the intersection points. So you can do any 2 of these points. There are many more. You just want to make sure you work from left to right. So you can start here and move to this point. Rise over run. Now in this case, what do you notice? The slope goes down. So my slope is going to have a negative answer. So I have to go down 1. So I went -1. And then I have to go over 1. And then I want to simplify this. So -1 divided by 1, any number over itself is equal to 1. In this case, a -1 divided by 1 is a negative 1. So my slope is -1. If you chose 2 different points, let me just grab a different color here. Let's see, I'm going to grab a yellow. If I wanted to choose this point and go towards this point, my answer at the end is going to be the same. So I'm just going to prove it to you here. My rise, I had to go down 2, so it's a -2, over 2, and when you reduce it, you get an answer of -1. So same answer, just I used different points, so my numbers were a little bit different here. I got an answer of -1. So either using any 2 points that are on a line, you'll get the same slope as long as you do rise over run, and you want to read it from left to right. So let's find the slope of this line. This is a vertical line. It goes straight up and down. If you say you're standing at the top here and you were trying to skydive and you wanted to move to this point. Any 2 points on the line, rise over run is slope. So the rise, let's say I want to move from left to right. Well, this is hard because it's right on top of each other. I had to rise 2. I didn't have to run at all. Whenever you have a number on the bottom, a number on the top over 0, do you see how that spells no? A number on top over 0. If you try to do this in your calculator, you'll get something called divide by 0 error or undefined. Whenever it says error message, you can't do it, so it's undefined. The slope in this case is undefined. You cannot have a slope that goes straight up and down like this. It's called undefined. All right, this slope, again, you pick any 2 points. This one looks like it's a perfect intersection. This one looks close, but it's not perfect, so I can't use that point. And then we have to go all the way down to here until we get to another one that intercepts perfectly. So rise over run. And in this case, it looks like it's going down. It is going down from left to right, so we're going to have a negative answer. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. I'm going down 3, so -3 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is -3/4. I always want to write this as a fraction. I never want to change it into a decimal. This is not how we do slope. So you want to keep your fraction or a whole number if possible. You can be improper fractions, so the top can be bigger than the bottom. It just can't be a decimal or a mixed number. So keep your fraction -3/4. So you can write the negative out front, on the top, or on the bottom. You just need to have one negative sign. All right, in this case, the slope goes up from left to right. Simon would say positive. So you need to find any 2 points that intersect perfectly. This one looks a little bit tough. Not a perfect intersection here at all. So let's skip this one. Sorry, bad example, but this would be a positive slope. And in your homework, you're going to have perfect points you can easily find the intersections of. This one, again, it goes straight across horizontally. So this one already has 0 slope, but if you wanted to prove it, you just take any 2 points. They don't have to be right next to each other. They can be anywhere. Rise over run. I don't rise at all, so 0 over any number spells on, so the answer is going to be 0. So it doesn't matter what point you choose. In this case, it was 0 over 1. I'll get an answer of 0. So my slope is 0 slope. No slope. Easy to walk. Finding the slope here, any 2 points. Let's choose this one here and this one here. I want to start on my left, and I have to rise 2 and run 2. So my slope is rise over run, 2 over 2. Simplify 2 over 2 to be 1. It's positive because it goes up from left to right, so my answer is a positive 1. Find the slope of this line. So again, this is a vertical line. Cannot do that. You'd fall off a cliff. Gravity would actually pull you out. If you wanted to divide by 0, you get a number over 0. No, you can't do that. A number over 0 is undefined, so my slope in this one, undefined. If I asked you to draw the slope, you should be able to pick any point and draw a slope. Let's say I wanted you to draw m equals -2. So if I wanted to change that into a fraction, I'd put my -2 over 1, and then I have my rise over my run. So you can choose any spot to start, anyone that you want. Let's say I wanted to start right here, and I wanted to draw a line that had a slope of -2. So to do this, I'd have to go down 2 and over 1. And if you wanted to have another point on that line, I would go down 2 and over 1 to get to another point. And this could continue. I could also go up 2 and over 1. And then I could connect my points. Sorry, let me go back there. Connect my points, and I'd have a line that has a slope of -2. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. If I wanted to have you draw the slope, m equals 2/3, a positive 2 over 3. Again, you could pick any point you wanted to. So let's say I wanted to pick this point right here. To get a slope of 2/3, it's already in fraction form for me, so I have to go up 2, so 1, 2, and then over 3, 1, 2, 3. So this would be my next point on the line. To get to another point, go up 2, over 1, 2, 3. That's an additional point. You need to make sure you extend your line all the way through the graph and put arrows on both ends. This line has a slope of positive 2/3. It goes up from left to right. If I wanted a slope that had a negative 1/4, again, you could start anywhere. I'm going to start up here. Just picking any point. I'm going to go down 1 and over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my next point. Down 1, over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would connect my dots, preferably using a straight edge so your line doesn't look as crazy as mine. But this has a slope of -1/4. It goes down from left to right, and the interval is down 1 and over 4. Perfecto. If you wanted to draw an undefined slope, it just had to go straight up and down, so you can go anywhere. You want to choose a line just so it's easier to draw. And of course, you would be much better than I. And you get a straight line that goes up and down, that'd be undefined. You can draw anywhere, it just has to have arrows on both ends. If you have any questions, please make sure you see me. Make sure you practice. We're going to do 3 days on this, and see me with any questions. Thanks for all of your time. Thanks for taking notes, and thanks for asking questions. Love ya. Ciao.